When I was 14, my parents and I took a road trip through Los Angeles. We were just passing through, so we didn't book anything fancy. We found this hotel that was affordable, and I mean that in the most generous way possible. The place was run down, like noticeably run down. The kind of place where the wallpaper in the lobby was peeling at the corners, and the carpet in the hallway had these dark stains that nobody could, or maybe nobody wanted to, explain. The elevator doors wouldn't close all the way sometimes. They'd just sit there, open, like they were waiting for something. But we were only staying one night, so we brushed it off. Checked in, went up to our room, tried to settle in. And I want to talk about the room for a second because I think people skip over this part. The moment I walked in, something felt off. Not scary off, just wrong. Like the air in the room was heavier than it should have been. Like the room had been holding its breath for a long time. There was this smell too. Faint, but it was there. Kind of like something old and damp, mixed with something I couldn't name. I didn't say anything to my parents because I didn't want to sound dramatic. I was 14. I didn't want to be that kid. So I just kept it to myself. We were on one of the higher floors. I don't want to say exactly which one. And the hallway, I remember the hallway specifically, had these long fluorescent lights that flickered at one end. Just that one end. And there was a community bathroom down the hall that guests had to share. I remember walking past it when we first got to our room and glancing in through the cracked door. There was a faucet running. No one was in there, just running. I told myself it had been left on by accident. We went to sleep around 11. My parents were out almost immediately. I lay there for a while, staring at the ceiling because I just couldn't settle. The ceiling had these hairline cracks running across it, and the city light coming through the curtains made them look like they were moving, like veins. I turned over and eventually drifted off. Then I woke up. And this is the part that I still can't fully explain to this day. I didn't wake up gradually. I didn't ease out of sleep the way you normally do. I was out, and then I was completely, fully, wide awake. Like something had just switched on inside me. No noise, no movement. Nothing I could point to that woke me up. I just opened my eyes. And I knew, before I even looked, I knew exactly what time it was. You ever have that? That internal clock thing where your body just knows? I looked at the time on my phone. 3:10 a.m. on the dot. And right away I felt it. This pressure. Not on my body, but more like in the room. Like the air had changed. Like something had shifted while I was sleeping and I was only now catching up to it. My chest felt tight. My stomach dropped. And I had this overwhelming sense that I was not supposed to be awake right now. Like I had woken up during something that wasn't meant to be witnessed. I wasn't paralyzed. I want to be clear about that because people always ask. I could move. I could breathe. But every single instinct in my body was screaming at me to stay completely still. So I did. For a minute, maybe two, I just laid there not moving. And then it started. Laughter. Coming from the ceiling. And I don't mean like muffled noise from the floor above. I mean resonating. Like it was traveling through the walls and the ceiling and the floor all at once. This faint, childish laughter. High-pitched, distant but somehow close at the same time. Like it was right above my head and also coming from somewhere very far away simultaneously. Light and airy the way a child laughs when they're playing. Except there was nothing light about it. In the context of that room, at 3:10 in the morning, it was one of the most deeply unsettling sounds I have ever heard in my entire life. My parents were still asleep. I could hear my dad breathing. And I'm sitting there in the dark, completely alone with this sound, and I don't know what to do. I'm 14. I'm terrified, and I can't explain why. I genuinely cannot explain the logic behind what I did next. But something pulled me toward the window. Not pushed, pulled, like a feeling, like a knowing, like some part of me understood that whatever was happening, the window was where I needed to be. So I got up, as quietly as I could, and I crossed the room, and I looked out through the curtain first. Just the city below, traffic lights, a few distant headlights. And then I opened the window. The night air hit me immediately, cool, carrying that specific city smell, exhaust, concrete, something faintly metallic. I looked to the left. There was a woman leaning out of a window a couple rooms down. She was wearing a nightgown, white or light gray, hard to tell in the dark. Long brown hair that was hanging forward, completely covering her face. She was just leaning there, halfway out, not moving. I remember thinking in that moment, she heard it too. She heard the laughing. I almost called out to her. I almost said something. My mouth opened. And she turned her head toward me. I couldn't see her face. The hair was still covering it, but her head turned in my direction, and she looked at me. I don't know how I know that. I couldn't see her eyes. I couldn't see anything past all that hair, but I felt it. The way you feel when someone is staring at you from across a room. That cold, crawling certainty. She looked at me for what felt like a very long time, and then she jumped. No hesitation, no noise before it. She just went over the ledge, and I heard her scream on the way down. This long, descending scream that started right outside my window and dropped away beneath me until it just stopped. I screamed. I don't even remember making the decision to scream. It just came out of me. My parents bolted upright, and I was already backing away from the window, telling them what I saw. I was shaking. I could barely form the words. My mom grabbed me, and my dad was already moving toward the door. We went straight down to the front desk. The man at reception looked at my dad's face, and he picked up the phone without asking a single question. The police arrived fast. They went to the area below where I described. Nothing. No body, no impact, no sign that anything had fallen from that height onto that surface. Nothing disturbed, nothing broken, nothing. Then they went to the room, the one she had leaned out of. It wasn't occupied. It hadn't been occupied. The officers checked the room and told my parents it was vacant and that nothing inside had been disturbed. No sign of anyone having been in there. No indentation on the bed, no personal belongings. Nothing. One of the officers crouched down to my level. I remember this specifically, and he asked me very carefully to walk him through what I saw one more time. I did, word for word, and when I finished, he looked at my dad with this expression that I was 14 and still somehow completely able to read. He didn't believe me, but he also wasn't entirely sure that he didn't. We left first thing in the morning, didn't stay for breakfast, didn't say much in the car for a long time. It wasn't until we got home, days later, that my dad was telling someone the story, and he looked up the hotel online. And the blood just drained from his face. He turned the laptop around and showed me. It was the Cecil Hotel. If you don't know that name, look it up. It has one of the darkest histories of any building in the United States. Suicides, murders, disappearances. The building has a body count, a real one, spread over decades. And I stood at a window on one of its higher floors at 3:10 in the morning and watched a woman disappear. I've never been back to Los Angeles without thinking about it. I probably never will. That is the scariest thing that has ever happened to me, and I've spent 11 years trying to find an explanation that makes sense. I still don't have one. I don't think I ever will. Stay safe, guys.